Dear Heavenly Father, we take pause before this public meeting to thank you for gathering everyone safely here on this beautiful fall evening and ask for your guidance as public servants of this beautiful city. Help us to be mindful of those we serve in our community and guide us to lead with dignity, patience, and understanding. We thank all the men and women who are actively serving our country and those who have served. Let us fully understand and truly appreciate the sacrifices they and their families have made for our safety and freedoms. For those who are suffering in any way, may we have the character to show compassion and provide resources to make a positive difference. May our personal faith give us the strength to act wisely and honestly in all matters set here before us this evening. In your name we pray.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll now call the Monday, November 2nd, 2015 council meeting to order. Mrs. Powell, roll call, please.
Branch.
Here.
Costellas.
Here.
Graham.
Here.
Henry.
Here.
Hussey.
Here.
Mahalovich.
Here.
Prather.
Here.
Schreiber.
Here.
Scrivener.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
Thank you. At this time, I'll ask for adoption of agenda. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Item 4, miscellaneous agenda items. We're going to start with a proclamation for the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness presented to Nicole Reynolds. So if Nicole Reynolds would like to approach the podium, welcome. And if you would like to tell a little bit about that, and then I'll be happy to present our proclamation to you this evening.
I appreciate it, Mayor. My name is Nicole Reynolds. I am a constituent from Ward 1. I'm here with my mother, Debbie Becker, and my sister and her family, Rachel Patterson, Nathan Patterson, Michaela, and Jacob. We are here on behalf of both St. Louis and Kansas City chapters of the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, and we would like to thank you for your time this evening and designating the 13th of November 2015 as World Pancreatic Cancer Day. 2 years ago, on September 22nd, 2013, my dad's first cousin, Nancy Wilson of Jefferson City, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and she actually passed away on the 22nd. Her battle was brief, and at 74, she left behind 3 kids, 9 grandkids, and her husband. Earlier that same year, my dad was in and out of hospitals in Jeff City with vague symptoms. No one could tell us what was wrong with him. They just told us it wasn't cancer. He sought a second opinion at the VA in Columbia, where he was diagnosed 2 weeks after Nancy died with pancreatic cancer. He endured countless rounds of radiation and chemotherapy and fought bravely for 22 months. He lost his battle on the 30th of September of this year. At the young age of 60, he left behind, sorry, it's still a little raw. He left behind his wife, 3 kids, and 7 grandkids. And I believe once you read the proclamation, it pretty much speaks for itself how horrible this disease is. PanCan is the most underfunded, underrecognized, and least studied of all major cancer killers in the United States. It receives just 2% of the National Cancer Institute's budget for research. I hope the signing of this proclamation will bring awareness to this cancer, leading to more research and eventually a cure. There are more than likely hundreds of citizens in our city and in surrounding communities who are affected by this disease. These friends, family members, and neighbors are most likely will have the same outcome as my father and my cousin. I thank you, Mayor, for your time and attention to this matter.
Thank you, Nicole and Debbie, for being here this evening. I know it's very difficult, but it's also very much appreciated that you would take the time to come and help us as a city and community to raise awareness about this. So I will read this proclamation that we have ready for you. Whereas in 2015, an estimated 48,960 people will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in the United States, and 40,560 will die from the disease. And whereas pancreatic cancer is the fourth leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States and is projected to become the second by 2020. And whereas pancreatic cancer is the only major cancer with a 5-year relative survival rate in the single digits at just 7%, whereas pancreatic cancer symptoms are exhibited in its late stage, thus 73% of pancreatic cancer patients die within the first year of their diagnosis, while 93% die within the first 5 years. And whereas approximately 860 deaths will occur in Missouri in 2015, and whereas pancreatic cancer is the 7th most common cause of cancer-related death in men and women across the world, and whereas there will be an estimated 367,000 new pancreatic cancer cases diagnosed globally in 2015, whereas the good health of residents in the city of Jefferson are enhanced as a result of increased awareness and early detection of the disease. Now, therefore, I, Carrie Turgeon, Mayor of the City of Jefferson, do hereby proclaim November 13th as World Pancreatic Cancer Day. So I hope by presenting this that we're able to raise awareness, and I have some extra copies in there for your family as well, and I would like to present this to you now. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole and Debbie. At this time, we have item 4B, which is Resolution 2015-23, recognizing Fred Rodeman as co-recipient of the 2015 Outstanding Service Award, which is co-sponsored by all of the councilmen, and I will have Mrs. Strope give us a summary. Sure, that would be great. The next one, 2015-24, recognizing David Bangy as co-recipient of the 2015 Outstanding Service Award, and again, sponsored by all 10 councilmen. So if we could ask our recipients to come to the podium. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The City of Jefferson has a long-standing tradition of honoring our employees who provide outstanding service. We actually started a formal program to do this back in 1972. So each year, employees are invited to nominate their coworkers who have exemplary job performance that are demonstrated in such ways such as showing outstanding dedication to the job, fostering cooperation among coworkers, and demonstrating concern for and service to their customers. So numerous employees were nominated this year by their peers to be considered for the award. So we had a committee of past recipients who got together and reviewed all of the nominations and selected 2 very deserving coworkers to be honored as the Outstanding Service Award recipient for 2015. These 2 wonderful coworkers were honored at our annual award ceremony held a couple of weeks ago, and I'm very pleased this evening to introduce them to you. So our first Outstanding Service Award recipient with 38 years with the city is Fred Rodeman. Fred is I'm going to clap for that.
Yeah, that's great.
Fred works as a crew leader in the Department of Parks and Recreation. Fred works with new construction and park improvement projects. And no matter the size or scope of the project, Fred works to put forth the best possible product. These projects have ranged from playground replacements to larger scale projects such as the development and construction of the Binder Park Campground. Fred goes the extra mile to give the city taxpayers their money's worth each and every day. And what I can add about Fred is that every time I see him, he always has a friendly smile on his face and a warm welcome for everybody. So thank you. So for these and many other reasons, we congratulate Fred Rodeman as one of this year's recipients of the City of Jefferson's Outstanding Service Award. Our second recipient of the 2015 City of Jefferson Outstanding Service Award is David Bangy. David's been with the city for 14 years and is the city engineer in the Department of Public Works. David is a dedicated employee who is apparently known for a couple of different things. One of those, that this was actually new to me, is that he is apparently known for gathering information that might benefit our community while he's out on vacation visiting other cities and regions. So please thank Julie, his wife, for that. David is also known for being in the office early and being willing to stay late to ensure projects are being completed on time. And probably even more commonly known, David is known for his vivacious laugh. We all know when we hear that infectious laugh that David is nearby. So David, please don't ever stop, because it always brings a smile to our face. But on a more serious note, with staffing shortages, David is taking on additional projects to help our city's success rate, and he always does it with a smile and an upbeat, positive attitude. With various levels of support given while dealing with the public, other organizations, and departments throughout the city, David delivers professionalism and is a great asset to our organization and to our community. So for these and many other reasons, we congratulate David as one of this year's recipients of the City of Jefferson's Outstanding Service Award. So as I mentioned, we did have an award ceremony a couple of weeks ago, and those two gentlemen were presented with an award, and on the award, the description said, "Shining Star, awarded to," and it had their respective names, "in celebration of your exemplary performance, thank you for going above and beyond that you do. You are a shining star. City of Jefferson 2015 Outstanding Service Award." Thank you both.
At this time, congratulations, both of you. I would entertain a motion for RS 2013-23, recognizing Fred Rodeman.
So move.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, it's a roll call. Thank you.
Branch.
Aye.
Costales.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Scrivener.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Congratulations. And RS 2015-24, is there a motion?
So move. Second.
Great. And roll call.
Branch.
Aye.
Costales.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Scrivener.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Again, unanimous. So congratulations, Fred and David. I have the proclamations here that Gail summarized, so I'd like to present those to you at this time. Fred, congratulations. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you. And David, congratulations. Appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Oh, we'll get a picture. Thank you. Congratulations. We really appreciate your service.
Congratulations,
Thank you. Now, item 4D, we have a special proclamation to present tonight in celebration for our state with the Kansas City Royals being the World Series champions. I'll tell you, before this happened, I'd already declared Monday today as Wear Blue Day, but we decided with everything that happened we would extend it. So how I would like to start, though, is remember when, 1985. President of the United States was Ronald Reagan. Vice President was George H.W. Bush. In 1985, a first-class postage stamp was 22 cents. Gasoline was $1.09 a gallon. A new house was $89,000. And favorite music from 1985, Can't Fight This Feeling by REO Speedwagon. And also in 1985 was the last time our Kansas City Royals won the World Series. So here we are again today, and we are going to celebrate our Missouri team. So I have a proclamation on behalf of the City of Jefferson. Whereas the City of Jefferson is celebrating Wear Blue Days in honor of the world champion Kansas City Royals. And whereas the City of Jefferson, capital city of Missouri, is proud of the Kansas City Royals and supports our Missouri team in bringing the crown back to Missouri. And whereas Jefferson City wishes to be royal and celebrates bringing the crown home, #Crown, Forever Royal, bring the crown home. And whereas Jefferson City already wears blue to support and cheer on our Lincoln University Blue Tigers, and whereas Jefferson City will keep Royals blue and carry on, whereas Mayor Turgeon wants Jefferson City to party like it's 1985, Now, therefore, Mayor Carrie Turgeon and the City of Jefferson congratulates the World Series champions, the Kansas City Royals, and declares Wear Blue Days on Monday, November 2nd in honor of their victory, and on Tuesday, November 3rd to celebrate the Victory Parade in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. So congratulations to our Royals, and all of the council, as you can see, has worn blue, which I appreciate that. And a quick little mention, we even have a vintage jacket here from Phyllis, and this is an original, isn't it, Phyllis? It's an original 1985 vintage jacket, and I think that brought a little extra luck to the Royals, so we appreciate that. So we're going to have all the council gather under the seal and get a picture of our proclamation. All right, everybody gather around. Yeah, you need it, Phyllis. Yeah, Phyllis, with that jacket, yeah. We get everybody? All right.
You gotta see your Royal. You gotta separate.
Thank you, everybody, for celebrating our Missouri team. Go Royals! So happy. I have to say, in 1985, I wore blue. I was at Simonson Junior High, 8th grade, down the road. You can see out the window here. And we had to pick the color, and yes, I wore blue even back in the day. So very excited, very proud. All of us, and I think no matter what team we support, we can all support our home team right now in Missouri, Kansas City Royals. So congratulations. Very happy. And what about that game last night? Did anybody sleep last night? Was everybody up? Is that why we all kind of have bags under our eyes? I'll tell you, that was something in the 9th inning, honestly, going in 0-2 and coming out the way they did, totally unexpected. And they fought hard like they always do and came out ahead, and not just barely ahead, but they rocked it. So very excited. So thank you, Jefferson City. Wear your blue tomorrow. I'll be wearing mine all week. Okay, number 5, public hearings. We don't have any this evening. Item 6, appointments from the mayor. We don't have any appointments, but we do have some presentations from staff, consultants, and invited guests. We'll start with item 7A, University Community Wellness and Recreation Center update by Mr. Lockwood.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I reported at our last meeting that the bid opening was scheduled for November 5th. At the pre-bid meeting last week, all of the contractors present felt strongly that was not enough time to adequately put together the bid and give us a good bid. So that date has been moved back till November 19th at this point. So I think that's to everyone's benefit to get that extra time. Also, I think there's some unresolved issue yet with the extension of the water line to the site that I believe is being worked out and will be settled by the time that the bids are open. So that's all I have unless anyone has any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Lockwood? All right. And before we move on to the next item, did I ask already if there are any scouts in attendance this evening? I always like to recognize our scouts. I always enjoy when they come. Okay. Item B, Chris Jarbo is here this evening regarding Operation Bugle Boy. So you're welcome to give us an update. There's some very exciting events coming up this weekend in Jefferson City. So, Mr. Jarbo.
I wasn't planning on being here. I talked with Mayor Turgeon last week, and she said, well, why don't you just come and tell everybody? So here I am. Thanks.
Thank you.
This is another big week in Jefferson City. We have several folks that are flying into Jefferson City for some important reasons. I am not going to talk about all those papers, so don't worry about that. The people that are flying in are David Beamer, the father of Todd Beamer, who was on Flight 93 on September the 11th. He's bringing his wife with him. Has anyone seen the movie Lone Survivor, read the book Lone Survivor? The movie came out in January of last year, and we were able to get the parents of the Navy SEALs that were killed in Operation Red Wings to come to Jefferson City from California and New York and Colorado and Texas. They fell in love with Jefferson City. They wanted to come back. When I followed up with the January thank you calls, they told me they wanted to come back. So I called David Beamer because he was here 2 years ago, and I have to pinch myself that I'm able to call people like this. When I talked to David Beamer about how successful it was for our program last year, he said that he wanted to come back. The possibility of David Beamer meeting the parents of these Navy SEALs was like Christmas morning for him. Can you imagine if your son was Todd Beamer, how much you would love Navy SEALs? And this week, on Friday, November the 6th, at the Concord Baptist Church, these Gold Star parents are going to be there at 6:30. They're flying in from Ohio, from Nevada, from Texas, Colorado, probably missing a state. And I think, we can probably drive a couple of miles if they're flying thousands of miles. Why are they coming? They're coming because they want to honor our first responders. They want to send the message to mid-America that their sons are not the only heroes in this country. And maybe it's about time more people recognize that. And so, Friday, November the 6th at 6:30 at the Concord Baptist Church, the program Tribute to Heroes is going to be taking place. And we're not just honoring those first responders. I mean, law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency medical responders. We're honoring their families, too. Now, there's two students with me someplace. Did they go back and sit down? The two girls that passed out the handouts, that's Kelly Fredendahl and Callie Kerrigan. Their father's a highway patrolman. And we're blessed in Operation Bugle Boy to have a lot of wonderful students because this is Jefferson City. We have a lot of wonderful families. So, of course, we have a lot of wonderful students. And the reason why Bugle Boy really got started back a couple weeks after September 11th was to try to get young people to realize, I'm going to kid a little bit, the world does not revolve around them. But seriously, we want to give students a chance to be part of something bigger than themselves and get involved in what you all know about, community service. Now, there's a letter in here. I saw Bob Scrivener sitting over there. I'm going to read just one part of this handout. And I probably wouldn't have if I didn't see Bob. Operation Bugle Boy does a lot of things. We try to maintain a low profile because what we do is not about us, it's about the people that we honor. There's an activity called I'm Writing You This Letter, and it's in here somewhere. And there's a letter that a student wrote, one of about 400 letters that we received. Has anybody found it? Maybe my handout doesn't have it. Which page is it? How many pages deep is it? 1, 2, 3. I wanted to read it. There it is. All right. Look at the bottom. I'm writing this letter as an activity Bugle Boy does that Bob helped start last year. Mr. Scrivener was one of the people who thought we need to get children realizing that they may have heroes in their family that they don't know very much about. So we put together a program called I'm Writing This Letter to get families talking about veterans within their own families. And we asked teachers to encourage students to participate, write a letter to a loved one, give it to them on Veterans Day. And here's one of the letters that we received a few days ago. It says, Dear Grandpa, this is by a sixth grader. Dear Grandpa, I'm writing this letter because after hearing the stories from family, you were an amazing, kind, and gentle man who served our country. I always wish I could have met you. We reported to duty on September the 4th of 42 to the United States Army. Your family visited you once the first month and never saw you again until 3 years later. You had been overseas serving as a soldier and part-time clerk during World War II. After returning home, you farmed where I live now. I feel so bad for you having been injured 2 times with bullets lodged in your knee. I cannot imagine how you felt and even got around the rest of your life. What a horrible war you're in. When I get injured, I always think of you and say, I can make it. My grandfather did. I'm a big boy. I appreciate all that you did to give me the freedom I have today. It's so sad you had to deal with cancer before going to heaven. I know you would have loved to see your grandkids as we work on your farm, enjoying life and being healthy as you see us from heaven. Your one and only grandson, Kyle. But this is an example of what Bugle Boy is about. And Kyle didn't write this letter for me to read it here. Now, he wrote this letter probably to give it to maybe the wife of his granddad that passed away. But can you imagine the dinner time conversations about this person they probably didn't know anything about? And without maybe Bob Scrivener, we wouldn't have this activity. But there's a lot of stuff in here. I'll stop with that paperwork. But we are going to have a wonderful program Friday. And what does it say about you all? That these folks want to fly back to Jefferson City and experience the love and the patriotism and the good common sense that our community has. And I would appreciate it if the position that you all have, you all could help get the word out. Be at the Concord Baptist Church this Friday at 6:30. It's free. That church can hold 900 people. And let's show our first responders how we really feel about them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Oh,
Jarbo.
the girls have a favor they want to ask of you.
Welcome. It's glad to see the students here. Thank you for being here.
Take the microphone. Kelly, what do you want? What do you want these folks to do?
Will you each write a letter to one of our first responders? The information is on the front page, and so that we can, so that's another way that we can show them how much we respect them in our community.
So you get the 4 businesses that donated money for about 10,000 sheets stationery: Schulte's, Hy-Vee, Echo Water, and Mosers. That's where you can get stationery.
And I'll mention that Schulte's, Hy-Vee, Echo Water, and Mosers, without the microphone, so they'll know. We'll get the recognition to the businesses who have supported that. We would all be happy to write letters. Thank you very much. So the public knows this Thursday, November 5th, is the Wave 'em if you have 'em, 3:50 to 4:30 p.m. The motorcade departs from Candlewood Suites. And then Friday, November 6th, at Concord Baptist Church at 6:30, the free event open to the public. We hope everybody can be there. So thank you, Mr. Jarbo. You do a lot for the families, and please extend our thanks to the Beamer family as well on behalf of the city. Thank you. Item C is presentation by ontheriver.org guests, which are invited by council members Mahalovich, Henry, and Hussey, and Mr. Joe Wilson is in attendance this evening. So if you would all like to come to the podium and tell us a little bit about that. And I'm going to start by having Councilman Rick Mahalovich, as you're working your way up, give us a summary as well.
As you can see that we have a lot of special people in this town and special guests, and tonight we're going to greet some travelers through our city. And the Missouri River is an amazing river. It runs through the city, and it's an amazing place. And along this river is a series of people that are connected via the river called River Angels. Those River Angels make the welcoming happen across the river. We possibly have hundreds of people travel that river, and it's River Angels that greet them at our river, especially our own River Angel at the northern access at Wilson Serenity Point. I'd like to have Joe Wilson introduce our guests from far and wide.
Thank you, Rick. So I don't want to take any of their time. I think Jeff back here, probably Rick could tell you that I probably greeted hundreds, if not thousands, of people in the events that's been coming down this river for the last 10 years. This time is something uniquely different. I don't think there's such a word as impactive in the dictionary, but this young group is impactive. They visit with schools, give education to the youth, which is what happens in the future, as we all know. They do it with heart, and they do it with knowledge. So they've already come 2,200 miles down that river paddling canoes. They've got another 1,200 to go to hit the Gulf of Mexico. We have a lot of river travelers coming down our way. I'd just like to introduce them. Aaron. I'm just going to use first names, folks, because some of these last names just is a tongue twister for me, especially when I don't have my teeth in. So Aaron, Nia, who injured the ankle yesterday and had to go to the emergency room today for 5 stitches, but that doesn't stop these people. Sarah. These are sweet people. And of course, Matt. You don't know what good banjo music is unless you're on the sandbar with these people. And the food, oh boy. I'm just going to let you have these people. I think by Mr. Mahalovich's effort and Mr. Crow's effort. I believe they're going to leave some good memories, but I think they're going to take some on down the river to places that's going to be hearing about Jeff City, because Jeff City can stand tall over these people.
All right, thank you for all those awesome introductions. So Rick mentioned the idea of connecting, us with river angels like Joe and Rick. You can consider yourself a river angel. We got to do our laundry and take showers and look a little cleaner to come into this meeting. But the idea of connection is something that's really important to us. And so not just connecting to people that we meet along the way, but making connections with people and the river. And so one thing that's really important to us is bringing students down to the river, getting them connected with the things that are in their own backyard. And so we have been on this trip for about 4 months now, and we visited dozens of schools. And what we're really trying to get the students to see is that a lot of their lives depends on these rivers, and a lot of what we do comes from these rivers. So maybe, I don't know if there's a slide advancer, we could move on to the next. So this is a quick map of our journey. We started up on the Continental Divide, one of the very small tributaries that leads down to the Gulf of Mexico that feeds into the Missouri and the Mississippi rivers. And maybe we'll move on to the next slide. There we go. So as we're moving down this river, we are on an adventure for ourselves. We're exploring the river. We're having great adventures, great experiences. But what was really important to us, like I was saying, is connecting those kids to the river. So as we're moving down this river, one thing that we've really started to notice is how important access is in those connections. So basically access to opportunities, access to locations, access to anything is what really drives opportunity. And so we've passed through several cities, several large cities already. And in these cities, they kind of can have an unwelcoming effect. They can it's a big bad city. There's you see a lot of industry right next to the river. You see a lot of kind of unwelcoming things right next to the river. And maybe we can move on to the next slide real quick. As we pulled into Jeff City, it was absolutely the opposite feeling. So you can imagine looking at the cities from the river as a completely different perspective. I mean, we've all driven over these bridges. We've all seen places from the perspective of the roads and from the towns. But coming into a town from the perspective of a river is kind of a unique experience. And we've kind of been turned off, by a lot of cities. And we kind of end up skipping cities, and we end up skipping places because there's no good place for us to park. There's no welcoming place. There's no inn to the city. And so we end up going through these places. But Jefferson City for us, and I just wanted to come here and thank all the work that you all have done, and especially the work that Joe has done to get this access going. And so it's access for us to come into your city. But hanging out there yesterday in the sun on a Sunday, it shows how much it's access for your city to the river. And that river is something that this is really important for this city, and something that feeds a lot of what goes on in this city. So it's access both ways, and that's just really important. And we're just really all loving Jefferson City for all that has come into this Wilson Serenity Point and the access that it gave us and gives you all. So I think, do we have one more picture, or I think that might, of course, the kids, the fun part. So we are trying to bring that access to the kids. This is a picture of us. Matt is giving a paddling lesson to about 60 kindergartners there. Believe it or not, we got them to sit still long enough to listen to us talk about adventure. But we are really excited to be able to connect students to rivers, cities to rivers, peoples to rivers, and have a chance for us to get connected to these places. So I think, unless anyone else wanted to add.
There's one more picture about communities, the Missouri River communities helping.
Yeah, so this stretch of the Missouri River has actually been really unique. We've been through, this is I think our 7th state that this trip has brung us through. And Missouri is really exceptionally well connected to the river. There's great organizations. We have Jeff and Kristen here from Missouri River Relief, and they do a lot to keep these rivers clean and keep people connected to their rivers. And this is a picture of us in Pierce, South Dakota. We are, I don't know how many hundreds of students since then we've had thank these guys because they clean the river up above, what's connected to them. So maybe we could have everyone just think a quick thank you to these guys right here because they helped to clean up your little section of river here. So we bring kids down to the river, and you would be shocked at how much kids get excited about picking up garbage. At first we're thinking like, well, maybe we'll have to make it a competition between 4th grade and 5th grade to get them excited. But man, you hand those kids a garbage bag and a glove, and they'll be, knee deep in the mud pulling out plastic bottles. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Sarah, did you want to add anything to that? River Relief is awesome. They are doing the same thing, connecting students to this section of river here in Missouri. And yeah, it's just awesome to see a state and cities that are so connected to the river and connected to things that are important to them. So I think that's all we had.
Well, thank you for being here and making a stop here in our fine city, and for those wonderful comments that you've said about our city and our river. We're very proud of that asset here. I'll tell you recently that 3 of us were on a 12-person canoe, Missouri American Water sponsored. Councilman Scrivener and myself and Mr. Kroll paddled down the river for 3 hours, and so we can appreciate that. Who else was? Matt, thank you. Yes, Schofield. Chief Schofield was on there as well. So we learned how fun it was to get out there and paddle, and it was amazing just when you're out on the river, and the view is incredible. And I see what you mean about coming into Jefferson City, and what a welcoming atmosphere, thanks to Mr. Wilson and all of the people that have worked so hard to do that. So we hope you come back and appreciate it, and we want to do what we can to increase awareness of the river and access as much as we possibly can to this wonderful asset. We're the only city that has a river, a state capitol, and a retired penitentiary all in the same place. So maybe someday we'll kind of grow those assets. Councilman Mihaljevic?
I just have them go ahead and introduce themselves, first, last name, and where they're from.
That would be great.
And before you come up.
And if they could come to the podium, that way we can all hear.
Okay, yeah,
what they
I'll
say.
start. My name is Aaron Vidicic, and I'm from California, Happy Cap, California.
Okay, I'll go second. My name is Matt Teatree, and I live in Nevada City, California.
My name's Nia Thomas, and I'm from Wales in the UK.
And my name is Sarah Dykeman, and I'm a native of Kansas City, Kansas, go Royals. And I just wanted to add one more thing to what Aaron was saying, is that I grew up in Kansas City, completely scared of the river, and it's great that you guys have an asset like Joe Wilson in your community that's really just rooting for the river and making access and making that river a great place to be, and it's not scary. For the record, everyone should get out on the river.
Agreed. Well, thank you. And I'll come to the podium so that I'll come there so you don't have to venture up in your crutches to present a special city coin to all 4 of you. So you have a keepsake of your visit here. And maybe Gail would grab a picture and Joe could meet us up front too.
Neither do I. Thank you so much.
So sweet.
Carrie, why don't you do a formal? Seal
This guy is the best river angel. Smile.
You're right, from Wales.
Well, that's wonderful to have visitors to our community by way of the river. How exciting. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. All right, item 8, announcements by mayor, council, and staff. Item 8, council committee meetings. The first item I, administration, is a change from what's on the agenda. Rather than November 4th, it has been moved to November 16th, right before the city council meeting. The other committees are shown: Finance, November 12th, Public Safety, November 24th, Public Works and Planning, November 19th. Does council have anything to add or any reports today? Okay. And I also wanted to make an announcement that both of our hospitals here in Jefferson City had a wonderful open house yesterday. St. Mary's Hospital celebrated their birthday and had a celebration open to the public. It was their 1 year in their new facility. And then also Capital Region just kicked off their brand new expansion project. So they are filled with local art and had a showcase for people to tour. If you haven't toured that yet, that's also an opportunity to see that expanded space. So want to point out congratulations to both of our hospitals and how exciting it is to have such wonderful health care here in mid-Missouri. And the next item B, I will let Mrs. McMillan talk about our work session and public forum scheduled for the solid waste contract.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On Monday, November 9th, a work session will be held to reveal staff recommendation on solid waste contract and provider. Proposals that we received will be reviewed, and the staff's recommendations will also be released. A public information session has been scheduled for Tuesday, November 17th at 5:30 p.m. in the council chamber as well. So at that time, we'll answer questions about the proposals and about the recommendation.
Thank you. Any questions for Mrs. McMillan? Okay, thank you. Item 9, the Lincoln University Student Representative Update, and Jonathan had something going on at school this evening at college, so he was not able to be here, but did want me to announce the Blue Tiger Madness Wednesday, November 4th, this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. at Jason Gym is the kickoff for Lincoln University's basketball season. Item 10 is presentations from the gallery on specific bills or resolutions. And before we ask if we have anyone here to speak on that, I wanted to mention on the informal calendar, which is item 14, item 2015-59, regarding the Lincoln University Chestnut Street vacation is on the informal, and I will let Councilman Scrivener let everybody know the intentions so they know in case anybody is here to speak on that topic.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, we intend to leave the bill on the informal calendar tonight. Councilman Mahalovic and myself, along with help from Drew, our counselor, city attorney, and Matt Marash, the Department of Public Works, Director of Department of Public Works, have been working, and I guess Councilman Mahalovic and I have submitted some ideas that we gleaned from some of the testimony of the meetings last week and in our last meeting. And so we're working on it. We haven't quite got it to the point where we're ready to distribute it to the rest of the council for their input and observations, but we're close. And when we do, then we'll finish fashioning something, and then we'll move forward.
Thank you, Councilman Scrivener. And for those who maybe didn't see the very end of the last council meeting, I think it's a good show of collaboration between Lincoln University and the neighborhood, kind of having some conversations, and the council. So it sounds like in the next couple of weeks that you all will be working together as a council and going through some ideas for that as well, and working with Lincoln and the neighborhood. So that item will remain on the informal, so you're still welcome to speak on that if anybody is here to speak on that topic, but wanted to make sure everybody knows that it won't be voted on this evening. We do have a speaker signed up this evening, Mr. Charles Michael, and if he would like to come to the podium, you're welcome to come speak.
Based on current information, I will hold my comments.
Hold your comments? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Michael. And is there anyone else here this evening to speak on any specific bills or resolutions? This would be the time if you would like. Any comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item 11, the consent agenda. We have 3 items on the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Item 12, bills introduced 2015-63. Mrs. Powell.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri establishing election dates in the City of Jefferson, Missouri for 2016.
Mr. Hilpert.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is the annual bill to set the election dates for next year. The general election will be held on Tuesday, April 5th. The declaration for candidacy forms need to be filed between December 15th and January 19th, excluding weekends and holidays.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Hilbert? 2015-64.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, changing, amending, and modifying the zoning map of the zoning code of the City of Jefferson by rezoning .49 acres from C2 General Commercial to RA1 High Density Residential for land addressed as 2301 and 2305 East McCarty Street, described as lots 18 and 19 of Dela's subdivision, Jefferson City, Cole County, Missouri.
Thank you, Mrs. McMillan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This application came to the Planning and Zoning Commission at their meeting in October 8th. The location on East McCarty, and currently the zoning of these two parcels is C2 General Commercial. On the left, this parcel has an existing fourplex on it. The one on the right, on the east side of Dela Lane, Dela Drive, is currently vacant. The owner has had the property listed for sale for quite some time and has been unable to secure a buyer for it, largely because it's surrounded by residential uses. So it makes sense to zone this property for a use that the land can accommodate, which would be a multifamily zoning district. RA1 is the proposed zoning district. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mrs. McMillan? Okay. 2015-65.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, changing, amending, and modifying the zoning map of the zoning code of the City of Jefferson by rezoning .52 acres from C2 General Commercial to RA1 High Density Residential for land addressed as 2219 East McCarty Street, described as lots 1 and 2 of Dela's subdivision, Jefferson City, Cole County, Missouri.
Mrs. McMillan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the two parcels come to you as separate zoning bills. The previous one that I discussed is on the east side of Dela Lane. The one that's currently under consideration, Bill number 65, is the existing fourplex, and that's currently on land that's zoned C2 General Commercial as well. So the plan or proposal is to rezone both of those tracts to RA1 multifamily residential. Public hearing on this, on both of these bills is scheduled for November 16th at 6 p.m. in the council chamber.
Councilman Scrivener?
The current zoning is commercial, C2.
Correct.
And yet there's already a multipurpose building on there, I mean a multifamily building on there, correct?
Correct.
So it was just built outside the zoning at that time?
It's a non-conforming, it's a legal non-conforming use. It was built prior to, under the code that allowed multifamily uses in the commercial district.
And-
So it's a legal non-conforming use.
Okay, so it just brings it into conformance on that particular one, and then on the other lot, it's vacant, but they want to be able to build a similar
Correct.
structure on it.
And on that one, it has residential uses on both sides.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? All right, 2015-66.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri approving a preliminary PUD plan for property located at 3219 Masonic Court, described as Lot 5 of Smith Place Addition, Section 5, Jefferson City, Cole County, Missouri.
Mrs. McMillan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Smith Place Addition is a subdivision located off of West Truman Boulevard. And this particular location on Masonic Court is south of West Truman. And what is proposed on this particular site is a daycare center. The application for the PUD plan came to the Planning and Zoning Commission in October, and they recommended approval. You see the zoning districts here. West Truman Boulevard contains a lot of planned district zoning. This is surrounded by planned district zoning. Across the creek to the south is some residential, is a residential development. So the site plan was approved, shows the daycare center and play space and pretty substantial parking lot, and this is the exterior elevation of the building, a very attractive building. Public hearing on the PUD plan is scheduled for 6 p.m. on November 16th in the council chamber.
Thank you. Any questions for Mrs. McMillan? All right, 2015-67.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, amending Chapter 35, the zoning code, pertaining to heavy equipment sales, concrete and asphalt plants, solid waste disposal sites, and composting sites.
Mrs. McMillan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Periodically like to pursue zoning text amendments with the Planning and Zoning Commission and the council to keep our ordinance current and within the expectations of the community and the type of development and expectations that we're experiencing. So what we're currently bringing to you are heavy equipment sales. Currently, it's allowed in C2, M1, and M2 industrial districts. It's currently not listed within the zoning code, so this would include that in the matrix of the zoning code. The second item is adding asphalt plants as a conditional use of the RU district. Currently, asphalt or concrete plants are commonly associated with quarries in our city, and it's allowed within the RU rural use district. This proposal would add asphalt and concrete plants as a separate use and as a conditional use on the same site as a quarry, and add that also to our zoning matrix. Landfills are currently a special exception use of the M2 district. The current landfill is on land that's zone M1. So what we'd like to do is make sure that we can include that land use on in a zoning district where it's currently existing. So that would add it to the M1 district. And same with the composting sites. Currently, we have composting sites listed as permitted use in the M2 district, and it's a special exception use in M1 and C2 and conditional use of the RU district. So we would like to add that to our matrix and add specific use standards for those sites that would include regulation of storage of material in proximity to property lines, minimum property size, and specifications on noise, dust, odor, etc. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. Public hearing on these items is also scheduled for Monday, November 16th at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilman Scrivener?
Where you are changing, what's permitted in a particular zoning area or not, how do you notify people of does everyone who is in a, we'll say an M1, for instance, where those exceptions are going to be made, does every person or resident or what have you that's in an M1 zone across the city get notification of that public hearing and get a chance to comment?
The standard practice is to publish that notice in the newspaper 15 days in advance of the public hearing, which was done 15 days prior to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, and will be done 15 days in advance of the public hearing before the City Council.
And when we're going to make a change like that, do we consider where those districts are and what kind of how it might impact an existing district, changing that zoning? Because if you change the type of business that might be located in a particular zone, then that, if I'm in that zone, that means that new business might move in next to me, or a business like that might move next to me someday. Do we consider those impacts before we do that?
We do, and in many cases there are specific use standards that are associated with these uses, so that those are regulated. In some situations like landfill, those are highly regulated by the state, and so there are a myriad of environmental and other regulations that apply to a landfill location.
Okay. All right. I'm just curious about how much consideration those types of things were given when when we start changing. Thank you.
Further questions? All right, 2015-68.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri vacating and discontinuing a portion of West Edgewood Drive adjacent to the parcel addressed as 2727 West Edgewood Drive.
Mr. Marash?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As clerk indicated, this would vacate some right-of-way and utility easements on Edgewood Drive adjacent to Highway 179. A few years back, the right-of-way was already vacated, but a utility easement was retained. In that process, there's some development potential for this lot being looked at, and they would like to vacate those utility rights. So that's what this bill will do, and there's a diagram if you're interested in the packet.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Marash? Okay. 2015-69.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri vacating and discontinuing a stormwater easement in Lot 38 of the Trails of Kaufman Hills, Section 3.
Thank you. Mr. Marash?
Thank you. During the development of Trails Kaufman Hills subdivision, this particular lot had a stormwater swale on it, shown on the plans, and the owner was contemplating adding a city storm sewer in this area to bring that up to grade. The city would accept it if it were a pipe were installed to the code. During that process, easement was obtained for that area and contemplating putting this pipe in, and through the process the owner decided not to put the pipe in, so now we'll be going back and vacating that easement in this area, and they'll go back to the swale condition they had previously.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Marash? Okay. 2015-70.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri amending Section 19401, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule G, Stop Intersections, Subparagraph B, Other Specified Intersections of the Code of the City of Jefferson by the addition of Chapel Hill Road at Rock Beacon Road.
Mr. Marash?
Thank you. And just for everybody's information, about the next four ordinances here, our bills are basically some cleanup ordinances in our traffic code, but they all went through the Traffic and Transportation Commission, so I'll kind of go through them fairly quickly, but please ask me a question if you have one. But the first one, number 70, is adding a stop sign at Rock Beacon and Chapel Hill intersection. It's a T intersection. Right now it's uncontrolled, and through a request, somebody asked that we add a stop sign at that intersection. So this is kind of on the edge of the city, and when it was developed, it was not specified either way. So we'll clean that ordinance up and add a stop sign on the minor leg of the intersection.
Thank you. Any questions? 2015-71.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri amending Section 19401, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule G, Stop Intersections, Subparagraph B, Other Specified Intersections of the Code of the City of Jefferson by the addition of Oak Ridge Drive and Timber Trail at their intersection with Cedar Hill Road.
Mr. Marash?
Thank you. Again, another cleanup of stop signs. These two streets, Oak Ridge Drive and Timber Trail, intersect Cedar Hill, which is the main line in this case, kind of through street. Right now, there are no stop signs at those intersections, and kind of cleaning this up through a citizen request, add stop signs at those two intersections.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. 2015-72.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri amending Section 19401, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule A, Speed Limits, Subparagraph D, 40 miles per hour of the Code of the City of Jefferson pertaining to a portion of Ellis Boulevard.
Mr. Marash?
Thank you. Another cleanup on Ellis Boulevard. Currently, our code does not match the field conditions of the signage for the speed limit on this section of Ellis Boulevard. And so what is signed in the field once this ordinance is enacted will match the code then. So right now, what will take place is Lorenzo Green to Tanner Bridge will remain 40 miles an hour, and then Tanner Bridge to Rosewood will be enacted as 30 miles an hour, which is how it's signed in the field today.
Any questions? All right. 2015-73.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri amending Section 19401, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule O, Parking Time Limit Zones, Subparagraph E, Time Zone E, 2-hour limit, Subset 1, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. of the Code of the City of Jefferson pertaining to the south side of the 100 block of West Dunklin Street.
Mr. Marash?
Thank you. This is another neighborhood request. Basically, the neighborhood would support this request, is that in this mixed-use area, there's a time limit on the parking restriction in that block, and this ordinance would remove that time restriction, so you could park there all day essentially, but there's apartments and some other commercial businesses. The neighborhood was notified and went through the T&T Commission and recommended for approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Marash? So the neighborhood and the businesses have all been made aware of that change, and they're all supportive? Okay, great. 2015-74.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry to participate in cooperative purchasing pursuant to Section 26A-65 of the City Code for the replacement of field lighting for Scott and Bird Fields.
Mr. Lockwood?
Thank you, Mayor. As the clerk announced, this is a authorization to participate in the interlocal purchasing system cooperative procurement program for replacement of lights at Bender Park as provided for under Section 26A-65 of the City Code.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Lockwood? 2015-75.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, amending the 2015-2016 budget of the City of Jefferson, Missouri by appropriating additional funds within the Park Fund.
Mr. Lockwood?
Again, this is a companion bill to 74. The Park Fund established an infrastructure replacement renewal reserve to deal with situations like we're finding at Bender Park. This amends the budget and appropriates money that has been previously set aside for this purpose.
Councilman Scrivener?
Bill, does the replacement of these lights also include an upgrade in the quality of the lighting, or was that part of the intent of doing this project?
Yes, I think as Bill, some of these lights are about 45 years old, and we thought we could squeeze a few more years out of them, and with some difficulty we had late this season, we discovered that's not possible. But yes, it would upgrade them to standard that were on the other fields that were done about 5 years ago out there.
Probably have some utility savings as well with
Yes.
more efficient lighting.
Yes.
Any further questions? Thank you. Item 13, bills pending. We have 2015-61.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for Metropolitan Transportation Planning Services for the period of November 1, 2015 to October 31, 2016, reflecting Consolidated Planning Grant, CPG funds, as approved in the fiscal year 2016 Unified Planning Work Program.
Mrs. McMillan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This funds our metropolitan planning organization, transportation planning function that the city has assumed. This is actually a portion of the funding. This represents $156,265 of the program represented in the Unified Planning Work Program. The second part will be funded by a surface transportation planning grant, and that will be coming to the council under a separate bill. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Any council discussion? Councilman Mihalovich?
Can you update us on where the comprehensive plan sets? I know we did, through this last budget, we've approved a position, and we got a lot of text amendments we're looking at right now. I'm just curious where we are with the comprehensive plan.
The planning updates are included in the funding that's included in the MPO, the Unified Planning Work Program. And so the Consolidated Planning Grant that is on the table this evening funds a portion of that, and the Surface Transportation Planning Grant funds another part of that. So that will be coming to the council under a separate bill.
And the,
That's also a Missouri Department of Highways and Transportation Commission grant agreement.
and when is that plan, the update expected to be, well, when are we going to update our comprehensive plan?
It'll be updated as part of the transportation planning efforts that the MPO will undertake in 2016.
Thank you.
Any further council discussion or questions? Okay. Mrs. Powell, roll call, please.
Costello.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Scrivener.
Aye.
Ward. Aye. Branch.
Aye.
Bill passes. 2015-62.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a grant agreement with the Missouri Department of Transportation, MoDOT, for acceptance of Section 5310 grant funds.
Mr. Marash?
Thank you. As the clerk indicated, this is a grant agreement with MoDOT, another grant agreement. The grant is for just over $128,000, and the city's match will be just under $62,000, which comes from the half-cent sales tax for the transit matching. The purpose of the grant is to purchase 3 new handy wheel bus replacements. So we'll be cycling the older handy wheels buses out as we replace them with these. This was a competitive grant and kind of alludes to what the bill before, but our Campo staff helped the Public Works staff put this grant agreement together and get this grant for the city. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Matt? Mr. Marash? Councilman Graham?
Matt, just a quick question. The buses that we're going to be replacing, what years are they?
They're listed in the agreement. Don't have it off the top of my head. Let me see here. I can get there real quick. Oops, wrong way. Back towards the end there. It's a 21-page agreement. Sorry.
Yeah, I think they found it.
They're
It's 2006
vans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to, on the buses, depending on what type bus they are, you have to keep them for a minimum lifespan before you'll even be eligible to apply for the grant.
Councilman Branch?
I was just going to say they are 2006.
Yeah.
I found it.
I think they're mandatory. I think they're a 5-year bus, if I'm recalling right, and so we used them a little longer than that, obviously.
Any further questions, discussion? Mrs. Powell?
Graham.
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Scrivener.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Branch.
Aye.
Costello.
Aye.
Bill passes. Item 14, informal calendar 2015-59. We already mentioned that earlier in the evening, so at this time, I would let Councilman Scrivener state his
I'm
desire.
I'm sorry, I was talking on the side here.
That's
What
all
was-
right, just your desire to keep that on the informal
Oh,
calendar
yes,
again,
I
which
am
we've
going to
already
do that.
discussed earlier.
I'm
so.
sorry, Madam
Okay.
Mayor, we were having a conversation here.
That's okay, and the bill, we would still have another meeting, and the bill would die December 8th, so I'm certain that a resolution would come forward before that. Any further questions or comments on that? Okay, resolutions, item 15, we have RS 2015-22.
A resolution of the City of Jefferson, Missouri adopting the CDBG 2016 Action Plan and authorizing its submission to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Do I hear a motion on the floor?
Second.
Okay, Mrs. McMillan?
Thank you. Jamie Abbott's going to do this presentation.
Good evening. Just want to take a moment and go over the Community Development Block Grant 2016 Annual Action Plan. In 2004, the City of Jefferson became an entitlement community for the Community Development Block Grant Program. The CDBG program is authorized by the Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. The funds are a block grant that can be used to address critical and unmet community needs, including those for housing, rehabilitation, public facilities, infrastructure, economic development, public services, and more. Each year, CDBG funds are distributed to state and local governments according to their population, poverty, and their housing variables. Community Development Block Grant Fund seeks to develop viable communities by promoting integrated approaches that provide decent housing, a suitable living environment, and expand economic opportunities for low and moderate income persons. The primary means towards this end is the development of partnerships among all levels of government and the private sector, including for-profit and non-for-profit organizations. Each grantee receiving CDBG funds is free to determine what activities it will fund as long as certain requirements are met, including that each activity is eligible and meets one of the following national objectives: benefits persons of low to moderate income, aids in prevention or elimination of slums of blight, or meets an urgent development need, which is defined as posing a serious and immediate threat to the health or welfare of the community in the past 18 months. The Community Development Block Grant Program provides local communities the flexibility to decide for themselves how best to meet their own community development needs. The CDBG law requires that grantee must develop and follow a detailed plan which provides for and encourages citizen participation, which emphasizes participation by persons of low to moderate income, and particularly residents of the predominantly low and moderate income neighborhoods, slum or blighted areas, and areas in which the grantee proposes the use of CDBG funds. Up there on the timeline indicated that there was several public hearings. First one was June 25th, which was a participatory budgeting meeting. We accepted comments through July 31st, and the draft plan was made available September 30th, and we accepted comments through October 30th. Yes, October 30th. And we plan to have the annual action plan submitted to HUD by November 15th. The consolidated plan is designed to help states and local jurisdictions to assess their affordable housing and community development needs and market conditions, and to make data-driven, place-based investment decisions. The consolidated planning process serves as a framework for community-wide dialogue to identify housing and community development priorities that align and focus funding from the Community Development Block Grant Program. The consolidated plan is carried out through annual action plans, which provide a concise summary of the actions, activities, and specific federal and non-federal resources that will be used each year to address the priority needs and specific goals identified in the consolidated plan. So currently, in 2014, we adopted a 5-year strategic plan that goes through 2018, and the priority needs were identified were affordable housing, public infrastructure, and facility improvements, supportive services, and removal of slum and blight. And the geographic area is for the whole city of Jefferson. So what is being proposed for 2016? Information is actually primarily based on the June 25th participatory budgeting activity. We have $75,000 proposed going towards homeownership and homeowner support programs. Public facility of approximately $69,000. That category primarily funds sidewalks, public services. This year we funded a Project Homeless Connect, demolition assistance of approximately $25,000, and then there's administration and planning activities. Just real quickly, our homeowner support programs assist low to moderate income individuals to address code efficiency, energy efficiency updates, ADA accessibility improvements. We provide $5,000 loan that is forgiven after 5 years of ownership, and the property has to be a primary residential. And of course, any properties constructed prior to 1978 are subject to lead-based paint testing. We have down payment assistance. Once again, we provide assistance up to $5,000 that can go towards down payment or closing costs. House has to be inspected for lead-based paint if it's constructed prior to 1978. And also requires the completion of a first-time homebuyer's course and obtain a certificate. And then we have our public services. We provide funds, sub-grant funds out to local non-for-profits. And this past year, this is a list of activities that may be funded with the public services funding. But this past year, I mentioned earlier, the Project Homeless Connect, which was held on October 13th, served over 180 individuals and is being deemed a success by the group. The Community Development Block Grant Fund supported direct services such as identification cards, birth certificates, medical and dental services. Other services included housing, showers, haircut, clothing, food pantry, healthcare sign-up, higher education, legal services. This event included over 200 individuals volunteering from the community, and throughout the day, the homeless were paired with volunteers who served as tour guides throughout more than 40 service stations that were offered. And then public facilities, public improvement facilities, I mentioned earlier, mainly do sidewalks, curb and gutter. That was part of the $69,000 proposed budget. May also help with the wayfinding system and assistance with ADA accessibility for public facilities. And then removal, slum and blight, we have a program that provide loans at 0% interest. If the vacant property is not developed within 3 years, unless located in a floodplain, the amount of the loan is due upon title transfer. Anyone can apply for these funding, but currently we've been assisting Habitat for Humanity for demolition and reconstruction of low-to-income moderate housing. The draft plan was available on the city's website, and also the copies were made available, of course, here at City Hall, Missouri River Regional Library, and the Housing Authority. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions about the programs.
Thank you, Mrs. Abbott, for all of your extensive hard work on this project. I know you do every year quite a bit for this, so thank you. Any questions for Jamie? Or any further comments or discussion on the resolution? Okay, roll call, please.
Henry.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Scrivener.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Branch.
Aye.
Costello.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution 2015-25.
Assuming the rights, interests, duties, and obligations of the tax credit agreement previously held by Boone County and the Special Olympics of Missouri.
Would entertain a motion. Mr. Hilpert.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a continuation of something we started several months ago. As part of their decision to build their facility in Jefferson City, the Special Olympics of Missouri has requested some tax credits from the Board of Economic Development. These were previously held by Boone County, and since they've decided to come to Jeff City, we need to get those tax credits down here. We authorized the application some months ago, but in discussing it with their folks, they need a little bit more specific resolution that actually authorizes us to take on the tax credit agreement. That's what it does. There's no cost to the city. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Councilman Scrivener?
Is that a tax credit to people who who donate money
Yes,
to the
correct.
Special Olympics? The Special Olympics can all, in essence, give them a tax credit for that monies that have been donated?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or council discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Hussey.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Scrivener.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Branch.
Aye.
Costello.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Item 16, presentations from the gallery on other topics. Are there any individuals who would like to speak this evening about any topic? All right. Seeing none, we'll go to item 17. So we have no council or staff discussion on presentation topics. Item 18, any new business? 19, any unfinished business? 20, approval of closed session minutes. Is there a motion? Any discussion? Councilman Mahalovich?
I have some written amendments to that. I don't know if everybody, if it matters. Okay, thank you.
All right, so we have that the revision. So we will, so with that, we'll take up that item as revised. All in favor? Or is that a roll call?
Roll call,
It's closed
yes.
session, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Roll call, please.
Branch,
Aye.
Costales.
Aye.
Graham,
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Scribner.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Minutes passed as revised. So before we go into closed session, wanted to again thank all of the council for wearing their blue tonight. Very excited for everybody and really appreciate all the participation. And City Hall, everybody in City Hall was Wear Blue Day and the community. So remember tomorrow to wear your blue. And thank you all for being here. And at this time, we will go into closed session. I'll ask Mrs. Powell to read the language to get us into closed session.
Pursuant to Section 610.021 of the revised statutes of the Missouri, the chair will entertain a motion to go into closed session to discuss the following: contract negotiations and legal actions.
Do we have a motion?
So move.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
It's roll call.
Roll call, sorry.
Branch.
Aye.
Costales.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Hussey. Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Scribner.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Thank you. At this time, we'll go into closed session. Thank you. Do we need a quick break?
Okay. Turn off the mics.